destinate companiilor. Dacă într-o dată trecută am vorbit despre aceste servicii destinate persoanelor fizice, încercăm să aflăm astăzi de la CEO-ul Ebury România, Johan Gabriels, invitatul nostru, câteva detalii în acest sens. Welcome, Johan.
Thank you. Pleasure being here.
Thank you very much for accepting our invitation. Let's talk about Ebury Romania. What about the services and the products, and how the Romanian market reacted to this offer?
Okay, well, thanks for the invitation. So if you allow me, Ebury exists for about 10 years, only about a year and a half in Romania. We are a fintech company, headquarters in the UK, headquarters in London. We are specialized, like you're saying, to services for companies only. So we work only business to business. And we do foreign currency management and international payments.
It was the next question. I mean,
so that's what we stand for. Now, Romania, we started last year in May after a small introduction in Greece, where we built up the team. We started with 4 people. Today we are 22 people, and we work already with more than 500 corporate businesses in Romania.
But the decision to be here in Romanian market, it was based on what?
So the discussion we had, so when I was contacted by Ebury about a year and a half ago, Ebury really wants to expand internationally. And because they didn't have a presence in the Balkans, I mean, they were present in Greece, in Poland, in most of the European countries, but not yet in Romania, Bulgaria, Hungary. And because of my experience in the Romanian market, they contacted me and asked me to develop this business. Obviously, they wanted to develop this business because we have done some market research, and we found that the companies were underserved in our products, and that we could really bring an added value to the companies and SMEs in Romania.
They are underserved with more than 30 banks on the Romanian market?
Well, depends how you define underserved. I think indeed we have a large banking environment. I mean, I've run some local banks in Romania before. But I think most of the banks are struggling with the new technology, speed, efficiency, and therefore cost on the aspects that we are focusing on, which is international payments and foreign currency management. I think that's where I think we believe we can bring an added value. Indeed, banks were sitting on a lot of data, but I think they forgot probably over the last year to focus on the customer and putting that central, which obviously we're trying to do.
So which are exactly the differences between your services, I mean Ebury services, and products for the Romanian companies and worldwide, of course?
Yeah, so first of all, I think we are a specialized financial services. We don't do all financial services that a bank is typically doing. So we are focused on, again, international payments and foreign currency management. So we only work with importers and exporters. So that's our specialization. Yeah. So if you specialize, you should be better. Also, we start with a clean business model. Yeah. We are using more the financial technology, digitalization, new technology of developing our products and finding solutions for our systems. So again, what I've said, it's speed, it's efficiency, it's lower cost, and close to our business, because that's maybe the difference that we see with some more fintech companies that are focusing on private individuals. We will always put people on the ground. So Ebury is now in more than 20 countries, but we always build a sustainable kind of number of people that are servicing the client. And that's, I think, the big difference between a fintech which is focusing on private individuals and a fintech that is focusing on companies. The customer relationship needs to be there, in addition to the fintech and the automation and the efficiency and the speed, because you need to build relationship with the companies and the people, the C-levels in the companies.
So you have 4 major services, if I understand correctly.
Well, look, we are...
Or more than, and on the Romanian market, you came only with this 4 you mentioned before.
What we're actually trying to do is to support the business in the international trade. So importers and exporters. Yes, that can be simply international payments, faster, cheaper. We're also trying to kind of protect our companies or come up with solutions how they can protect their margin, how they can protect themselves against currency volatility. So that's the kind of our main focus there. And then indeed in Western Europe, most of it, we actually come also with a solution of trade financing, which we haven't launched in Romania yet. So there are actually 3 main aspects: international payments, foreign currency risk management, and trade financing.
So let's talk about the strategy for the next year, because you said that you are not yet with all those services.
So the strategy for next year is definitely we need to continue to grow.
I think how many clients do you have?
500
right now?
So we have 500, but again, we work only with clients, with companies and SMEs.
Yes.
So we have a strategy to adding another 40, 50 clients per month. So we definitely need to grow that market potential. There's about 27,000 companies in Romania. We think that about 6,000-7,000 of them can benefit from our services. So we need to kind of increasing our market share. In addition to that, indeed, we are trying to develop also the trade financing products, which we hope to launch in the next 6 months, 9 months. Trade financing means that I'm gonna have export financing or import financing, meaning I'm gonna lend you money for importers as well as for exporters. And there, obviously, we need to come up with also a competitive product and a decision taking which is much better than the clients can currently have in our markets.
So, also about strategy for the next year. To get to how many clients from
Look, if you think about, if you think 50 clients per month, and yeah, you get like, let's say that we're going to try to be more than 1,000 clients by the end of 2020.
And what about the costs? Because I understand that there is a significant differences in this area.
Well, I think the question is about how can we be more competitive than the banks.
The banks, yeah.
I think it's all related to, first of all, the critical mass. The group Ebury, again, 20 plus countries. We, over the last 12 months, we did transaction value of more than $19 billion. So we have the critical mass. On the other hand, we have a relatively low cost structure. Yeah, we might end up with 20, 25, 30 people. But that's it. That's different than having 50, 100, 300 branches that some of the banks have. So our cost structure is lower. So we lean and meaner from a cost structure. And we still have the critical mass, which allows us to get very good conditions with our partner banks or liquidity providers on a global level. So that's how we kind of are able to give better prices to our clients.
So let's explain that Ebury or some other fintechs for companies, they are not a substitute for the products and services provided by banks, but they are complementary.
Look, I mean, I think, look, I mean, I'll be frank. I mean,
yes.
Fintech is disrupting the banking sector, and some banks are reacting in a positive way. Some are partnering with fintech companies because fintech is not something there that will stay separate. It will have to be integrated in the financial sector. So fintech is there because at a certain point banks were not doing what they could be doing. They allowed other new players to come in. So yes, our products are relatively similar from a principal perspective than the banks. Companies are already, or clients are already doing international payments. Or clients might be thinking about how to protect my margin, my prices in the future. But I think we come up with, I would say, more efficient, better solutions, which are much more tailor-made. I think that's also an important word, to the client. So when we go to a client, we listen to them. We try to understand his business to come up with a specific product offering. Every product offering is probably different depending on the client. The business segment you're in, you're importing, you're exporting, the size, the profit margin is currently running. So it's that added value. So it's not necessarily the product itself that is rocket science, but obviously it's cheaper, it's better, it's faster, and it's much more tailor-made than what they currently have.
From the banks. There is a journalistic curiosity, let's say. I mean, to get this first 500 Romanian clients, you was at how many clients before? I mean,
so I think the question is more about how do we get from 0 to 500, and how do we qualify them?
And how many clients do you meet before
we get to this, right? So I think first of all, there's a lot of work we do in the background. Yeah, we're trying to identify clients that could benefit from our services. That's why I'm saying, out of the 27,000 companies in Romania, there's probably about 7,000-8,000 which are qualified and saying, look, there's benefit for us working with them, there's benefit for them working with Ebury. So there's a certain qualification of that. We also gonna come up already with some specific products. Yeah, if you're importing from China, we might have a solution which is probably different than if you're exporting to Africa or to the UK. So we when we contact the clients, we have already done some of our homework. We know what they're doing, we know what sector they are doing, we know where they're importing, export, so that we come up with much more specific products, which actually means that our success rate in bringing those clients on is much higher. Now, the reality is also that, yes, we will contact them, we'll phone them, we'll send them emails, whatever, but the important thing is that we go and visit them. Yeah, they know us, there's a trust level that is being built, we know them. So yes, the beginning is hard work. I mean, it's contacting the clients, but it's in a smart way. And then it's about building the relationship. Now, after that phase, I would say of 6 to 9 months, then obviously we get clients who are happy with our services or happy to make references to other clients, and then you start kind of building this up. We were not doing 50 clients the first month we launched, but we gradually kind of grew that portfolio over the last year now.
So it seems that Romanian market has a good reaction. I mean,
it has I would say a better reaction. I mean, definitely much better than Group was thinking, Group of Ebury. Indeed, we have seen a phase of, because we are a new name. Yeah, people don't know us. Yeah, so the trust building is going to be important. Who is fintech? What is fintech? Is my money safe? Yes, we are regulated like a bank is regulated with the National Bank, and we have our licenses, be it in the UK or in Belgium. So yes, money is safe, but you need to kind of build that the relationship. And so I think we moved from what I would call the early adopters, or more willing to kind of try something new, to much more mainstream. It's really getting mainstream that next to a bank, because again, we work together with banks, so we don't say that they should stop the relationship with the banks, but the only thing we're saying, next to a bank, put a fintech, put a real challenger on. And I think we see more and more companies willing to do that.
So it was my next question about some kind of Romanian client profile. I mean, you mentioned that the SMEs or small or medium enterprise are your clients. Why not also the big clients?
Yeah. Look, it depends what we call about the definition of an SME client, because obviously it's so, or I think sweet spot is more around 30 to 50 million turnover, but that it depends also where they're importing and exporting from. Why is that the main thing? Because the really big companies, international groups, their treasury activities, their decision about making payments working with a certain bank or financial institution are most of the time centralized. Yeah? So if you have a large American, British multinational, they probably centralize all the decision into their headquarters. So that's why, yes, in some of our units, being the UK, Spain, the Netherlands, we work with those large clients, but in Romania, those clients are most of the time branches of an international group. But we work with the largest Romanian clients, that's not a problem. So we work with corporate as well as SME.
Which is exactly the proportion of Romanian, local, and multinational?
Oh, we work with, I think 80% is Romania capital, and then 20% are more international or branches of international companies.
When you said specialized, you mentioned about the exporters and importers, and that's it?
Well, I mean, that everybody who is doing international trade, that's a focus. I mean, if you are producing locally and you're selling locally in lei and you receive lei and you pay in lei, we cannot really help you there. Where we can help you if there is a foreign currency involved, which means you're exporting or you're importing to another country.
You said also the Ebury services are faster. What does it mean that faster than banks?
What it means is that for most of the countries we can pay in the same day or maximum 1 day later. Again, it depends on what we call the cut-off time. Obviously, if you make a payment at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in Romanian time, the payment to China will only be there the day after. But the payment to, for instance, America can still be there. So it's maximum 1 day that we can make your payment, which is obviously quite efficient. We also can do it in 140 different currencies. So you're not limited to the main currencies to make the payment. And the other thing is that we are a member of GPI SWIFT, which actually means that you can always trace where your money is. Compared a little bit to Amazon, you know where the deliverable is going to be taken, where your product is. So you always know in different stages where the money is. And that's why, that is because we centralize actually our payments with our liquidity providers and our payment providers, where some other banks need to work with different corresponding banks, and it can take up to 3, 4, 5 days before a payment gets into a country.
Faster, cheaper, and?
Tailor-made. Yeah, so
that's detailed.
But tailor-made is about listening to the client and see what they...
I mean, it's not too hard to make this tailor-made for 500 clients and in the perspective.
No, but it's not. I mean, it's first. Well, I'll give you a specific example. Yeah, if you are importing from China, a lot of Romanian companies are importing from China. Most of them today will pay in dollar. Yeah. Now we have seen a strengthening of the dollar. Yeah. It might be very beneficial to maybe talk to some of their suppliers to pay in local currency, renminbi, in China. Now, how do we serve that one? We talk to the client, we say, look, it might be a good idea. Normally there's a language barrier. We don't talk Chinese. But we have an office of about 20 people in Hong Kong. So we bring them in contact with our Hong Kong office. They discuss with the supplier. If there is any issue, we might even discuss the price. Now that's a tailor-made service. We don't charge you for that. Yeah? Obviously you would hope then the payments you do to us. But that's very much, it's specific to a client to help him get less volatility on the currencies and maybe also a better price.
If you don't charge all this operation, the question is where from you make your profit?
It's a very simple, very transparent model. For the prices we are getting for a certain currency conversion, we're adding a spread to it, and that's our margin. So if we get a price at 1.10, we might charge the client 1.11, and that's the margin. So it's very transparent. That's the other thing, which is there is no hidden cost. people know in advance what it will be. We try to actually combine the payment and the spread on the FX conversion into one price.
Mm-hmm. And the last question probably, also for the Romanian market and also for Bulgarian, because I understand you cover also the Bulgarian market. For the next year, which are the financial objectives for Ebury in this area?
So we have a strange calendar year. So we have a budget. We have a budget from actually May to April. Yeah.
Okay.
So definitely there is. I think from a transaction value perspective, we definitely want to do 1 billion euro
because
of transaction
500 or 1,000 clients doesn't mean.
Yeah,
much.
so there is, let's say, 1,000 clients by the end of 2020. Mm-hmm. We will need to do about 1 billion value transactions, which means payments combined, over the next 12 months. I can tell you that after 8-9 months we were profitable. So that's a nice thing also, because that means that we keep on investing and bringing new products to the clients.
With 22 people?
With now, today, 22 people, yes. And so we're probably going to grow the staff further. We're actually actively looking to recruit more people. Mm-hmm. The nice thing is actually we have 5 people that we brought back from Western Europe, mm-hmm. Amsterdam, Madrid, London. That's nice that Romanians want to come back.
Okay.
We also have a substantial number of women, so diversity is good also.
I mean, how many women do you have?
Well, we have 6 out of 22, which is I would like to have them more.
Okay.
But yeah, if some women are listening, it's a nice environment to be, and you should not be afraid to be in the financial sector mm-hmm. and in sales. It's really kind of I mean, we believe in our own products. I think we really are part of something quite unique, and I think there will be a lot of new things happening. Recently, what is also important to say, and maybe adding to the objectives, yesterday we announced the group an acquisition, Frontier Pay. There will be further expansion in the group. I mean, we're now in more than 20 countries, and it wouldn't mm-hmm. surprise me in a year or two we will be more like 35, 40 countries. So it's, I think, a great place to be and a unique place to still join, because actually we're still young in the Romanian mm-hmm. market, and indeed recently launched in Sofia, Bulgaria.
Mm-hmm. And which are your competitors here?
Well, competitors, to be honest, I mean, the banks, the whole financial sector is a competitor.
From the fintech area.
Well, especially. Look, there are some others like Accenta, Moneycorp, those are, but again, we see it more as holistically. Yeah, the reality is that still 90% of the international payments are handled by the banks. So I see them more as colleagues than competitors, because they all have a different strategy, a specific strategy.
Mm-hmm. And of course, another question is about not even the clients, but your team. Mm-hmm. You said that will grow. What kind of specialties as a function in your team?
Well, look, I mean, the way I'm recruiting people is always on motivation. Yeah, mm-hmm. The one who is more motivated to learn, to be in a new environment, is normally getting the job. Now, it's good that they have some financial background.
It's a new area to work.
Yeah, because it's a new area. I mean, to be honest, I don't take people from banks in general. Mm-hmm. I mean, I only have a few that are actually having a banking experience. I like them when they are still young, dynamic, want to learn, want to move, can make a career very quickly in the organization, but motivated in order to learn. Obviously, some sales aspect, because most of the people will be identifying clients, discussing with clients.
How many people do you have in the sales field?
90% plus is sales, because the group is organized in a centralized way where everything around back offices and centralized functions are in Spain or in London for the moment. So primarily when we launched a group, 90% is sales oriented.
Okay, so if you have to describe Romanian market like an open one for the fintech services, how do you describe it?
But first of all, what I've seen is a major shift towards fintech. I mean, if you think about 5 years ago, who knew about Revolut or TransferWise or PayPal or Monecorp or Ebury? Nobody. Yeah. If you now go on the street and you ask that, they will recognize some of those names. Yeah. Yes. So that's where I think the Romanian market has been very quick in adapting those new technologies. And that's what we kind of general think. Once you kind of are able from the early adopters to the mainstream, it moves very quickly in Romania. And that's what we have been saying. And yes, I have a banking experience. I've been working with fintech, but now we kind of really see the momentum that, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me that the large majority of the companies will have at least one fintech company in their financial portfolio next to the banks.
We have enough place to grow for the fintech services and products.
Definitely. I mean, as long as you focus on the clients and you're trying to find solutions for the issues, you're going to grow. Well, some might lose, but I think people gradually get it back that after the financial crisis, they forgot to put the client in the focus in the middle. Yeah. And we've seen that with fees and commissions and not good services. And I think that's gone. Yeah. And I think if you are an organization, be it a fintech or be it a bank, yeah, if you put back your client in the middle and you solve and you come with products that he really needs at a fair price, you will be okay.
And of course, if you are transparent and efficient and faster than others, faster than banks.
That's what it is. I mean, but that will be kind of almost a given. Yeah, I don't think people in 1 or 2 years will accept a payment to take 4 or 5 days. I mean, it needs to be instant.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that will even become commodity. Those who are not going to be there will not be there. But I think in addition to that, the main differentiation is actually still going to be customer service, customer experience. And that's why you have fintechs like Ebury. Yes, we get this kind of speed and efficiency and low cost, but we're actually investing a lot in people. So it's that kind of fintechs with a customer experience or fintech with a human touch, whatever you want to call it.
It is a good finish for our edition.
Good.
Thank you very much, Johan.
My pleasure.
Mulțumim și dumneavoastră.